Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Monday afternoon, evening slash Tuesday morning. Zoom edition, depending on where you are in the world. And the market dipped a little bit over the weekend after Friday's big dump, but had some recovery today. So things are looking better. Our good friend Solana had a nice move, about 6% up. So rocking my purple shirt and background to celebrate that. Got some news coming down. Let's go to the charts, check those out first, and we'll go to the news. The news is now Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. So we'll look at some of that too. I've been using that quite a bit lately. Share my screen, and should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yep.
Thank you. And you can see we had this big spike down on Friday, bit of a recovery on Saturday, another big spike down on Sunday, and recovering today. We're hanging around the 618 level, at least we were on my Fibonacci retracement. But the more concern is this orange line here. This is the 200-day moving average, and we're below it. If we persist in staying below this, that could be the end of the bull market, depending on who you talk to. But we do have a green candle, though I forgot, this is a doji. It's not really a doji, but it's got significant wicks on both sides. Somewhat undecided, but we're up a little over 1% today. And there was a little news item here I wanted to look at. Yeah, those pesky Germans. They're still selling their Bitcoin, and they dumped another $900 million worth. I believe they're halfway through what they're going to dump. So if we can absorb that, deal with the Mt. Gox issue that we talked about last week, with their selling, and hopefully the ETFs and whales just absorb it all, and the market will bounce back fairly quickly. Regarding the Ethereum ETF, we had some movement on Ethereum today. We're back over 3,000. That's good news. And then over to my Twitter feed, Kyle Chasse. I don't know how to say his name, but I've been following him for a few months now. Looks like Fidelity filed for the spot Ethereum ETF. Fidelity is one of the largest financial institutions in the world, and they've submitted their S1 filing. S1 is the second form. I'm not going to burden you with a description of government forms, but anyway, that's supposed to be the last step. Kyle thinks the wave is coming, but he is perpetually optimistic, so I take that with a grain of salt. And then the other news, we had some news about Solana ETF, and Eric Balshanis is I lost him. There he is. He thinks that we're going to have deadlines in mid-March 2025, with some paperwork required in November of this year. And then he thinks that if Biden wins the election, such submissions are dead in the water, where if Trump wins, anything could happen. I don't like to be political in here, but obviously Trump has done kind of a 180 on where he was on crypto just a few short years ago, and now he's embracing it. So do with that what you will. All right. Any people care to chime in on other news items or their opinions of the market overall? All right. So what do we do with this news? Well, let's look at Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some day trades and short-term swing trades. I'm over here on Altcoin Alert. I'm going to refresh, get the latest information. I've got easy mode off, and I am using the altcoin radar setting, so I have all the information. The first sort I like to do is an AA score, looking for values 80 and higher. And then I'm usually looking for coins I have some experience in trading that I know the volume is reasonably good. I looked at this IQ coin briefly, and the volume wasn't that good on the exchange I looked at. And I looked at REQ, which is on Coinbase, a similar situation. So we looked at Ondo a couple times last week. So I want to look at this Didix here. It's an 80.2 on the AA score. So AA is telling us there's an 80.2% chance. This coin should go up 3 to 5% or 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. This is a coin I like to trade. It does a lot of this. The day trader, I like that. So let's see. I had that chart up. There we go. So this is my 15-minute layout. I've done a video on this. Email me if you want more information. I've got the supply and demand visible range from Lux Algo for my support and resistance. I use the RTI, relative trend index, to help me get good entries. I like these dips below 20 right here. I like these for long positions, and then I like these breaks above the 80 and the dip back down. I like these for short trades. I'm an experienced day trader, so I trade the market both directions, longs and shorts, on a platform that allows leverage. If you're new to this type of trading, you should focus on spot trading. So that's going to be only longs, and that's the safest approach to get started. Once you show some success in that, then you can move on to leverage. Or you could just ignore what I said and just go all in on leverage and learn the hard way. Anyway, so the setup I like is on this RTI break below the 20. So I'm going to set an alert on this situation. Well, I'll show you a couple trades that could have happened yesterday or the day before. So you can see here we had a break below 20 and then a bounce back up. Had I taken that trade? I'm usually looking for around 1 to 1.5% move on my day trades at 10x leverage. That's going to be 10 to 15% for me. I probably would not have been in profit on this one. It would have gone against me for a while. I would have done a couple additional purchases and then probably been out right about here. So my first position would break even, but my second and third positions would have been profitable. So overall, it's a profitable trade. It's called ladder buying or dollar cost averaging. Since we're sort of in a bull market and that's a bullish trade, I think that's the best way to go. Most traders use stop losses. They probably would have done a stop loss down here and been stopped out, but I prefer the additional purchases. Obviously, the risk is that the market keeps dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and then you're stuck with those three positions, for weeks and weeks. That's the risk you take. Any approach is going to have some risk. If you use stop losses, you're going to lose a lot. If you use the ladder buys, as long as you identify what kind of market we're in, you can be successful with that. But you will be stuck from time to time and stuck in trades for sometimes days or weeks. What's really awful is to be stuck in trades for months or years. So let's avoid that. All right, so obviously the better entry would have been this dip over here. It broke above the 20 and then shot up, to the red zone. Had you gone all the way to the red zone, 4% trade, that's a great day trade. But we don't have that set up at the moment. But it is kind of dipping down. So you can set an alert on your RTI, right click on it. And we're going to choose the option of crossing up. And the value is 20 is the one I use. You can select once per bar close if you want to keep this on all day, but it will keep going off until you turn it off. Alert name, I usually use the information source, AA score purchase. On the notifications tab, I'm going to notify in the app on my phone, pop up on my computer, play a sound also on my computer. And there's a few to choose from. This one, I'll probably go with Chirpy. And that's how you do that. Any questions? Well, okay, there's another option as well. You can do more trend-based approach, wait for it to go above 50. We have that here. This one is better when the market's really definitively going one direction or the other. So you can set an alert on the 50, like I just showed you, and just put 50 instead of 20. And we had that break up above the 50 here. And then that would have been eventually a good trade. Starts off pretty good, then dips, then takes off. So that's why I like the additional purchases approach, because if the market makers are working against you, or you just had some bad luck in your entry, you can essentially correct that mistake with an additional purchase. You do have to manage your balance accordingly. You don't go all in on one entry. You hold back most of your funds, and then you manage that and keep them available for additional purchases. Okay. Any questions on DIDX as a day trade? Okay, I know I have some people in here who prefer longer term trades. So I'm going to head over here to my swing trade setup. I'm on the 1 hour chart. I'm using the same indicators for support and resistance, but I'm adding the super trend, which is alert friendly. I'm also adding this Trendio LSMA, which is a moving average. So the ideal swing trade entry, I think, is something like this, where it dips down here in the green zone. The buy print triggers on the super trend when it starts to recover. And then the Trendio LSMA confirms. So your entry is right about here. And then to the red zone, you got 12%. It just does touch that. Maybe this gets you out, maybe not, if you go all the way to the red zone for your exit. And you're in that trade for about 3 days and 12%. That's a great swing trade, I think. And those are the swing trades I like, for a few days, no more than a couple of weeks. But sometimes you get the inadvertent swing trade or long-term swing trade when you take a trade like this and then it goes against you, and you have to hang on. Or again, you can use stop losses and take that loss and live to trade another day. Depends on what your risk tolerance is and your strategy. So the super trend is really alert friendly, which is why I like it. Right click on it, add an alert. You can choose direction change if you want to trade both directions. For the buy, just for the long position, you select buy. For the short position, you select sell. And we'll select buy on this. And this is an AA score. And probably go with the handbell. Use a different sound, but everything else is the same on DIDX. At the moment, we have a buy triggered and then it dipped. The Trendio LSMA just turned red. So this may dip, trigger a sell, and then it might come back, trigger a long, probably tomorrow. And then, to the top of the red zone, 6.5%. Not bad if you're in it for just a couple days. Okay, any questions on DIDX as a swing trade? Okay, I'm gonna go through some other sorts as well, be a little faster this time. If you want further explanation on something I mentioned, just speak up, or you can post in the chat, but I'd rather you just speak up. All right, so that was DIDX on an AA sort. Go back over to Altcoin Alert. Let's use a social activity sort. That's this one here. I'm gonna match up, fire and thumbs up on the social activity with fire and thumbs up on the trading activity. So you got what people are talking about online and what the technicals are showing. When they match up, that's something I want to look at. ENS, Ethereum name service, I think it's benefiting from the Ethereum news. It's got fire and thumbs up. It's up double digits today. We might be a little too late on that one. Could be a good short candidate. I'm not really, nothing else is really jumping out at me. I've been trading ENS lately. But the only match, God, multiverse, EGLD, that's one I've traded from time to time. Let's look at ENS though. Yeah, you can see it had a really nice move off that dip, right about here, and then pumped up. So we're above the 80 right now. So the play here, at least the next one available, is probably going to be a dip. But there's a couple fake outs here, here, and here. So beware. So this alert to trade both directions looks like this. I'm going to enter a channel. If you want to trade both directions, 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. Once per bar close. Social activity sort. TradingView will remember what you type in there after you do it a few times, like any database. And let's see, what did I call this? Social activity sort. Go with Chirpy. All right, then you go to your alerts, and you'll see that one's just showed up there. So if this dips below the 80, could be something I'm going to short. I'm not going to take the short just because the alert goes off. I'm going to look at the chart overall and maybe look at some other time frames like the 30 or the 1 hour or the 4 hour to see what's going on overall. It's a good idea to look at Bitcoin before you take any trades, see if it's pumping or dropping. So I would move this over to the 15-minute chart. And right now it's trending up. So I'd be reluctant to short ENS, but hasn't dropped below the 80 yet anyway. So, okay. And then I haven't talked yet about this cumulative delta. I use this for more of the trend-based trade, something that breaks above the 50 or even the 80, or that breaks below the 80 or the 50. And I look at cumulative delta to see if it's supporting the trend. Like a good example of that is this one here. Breaks above the 50. The delta is trending up. And so that would have been a pretty good entry. That would have been enough for me as a day trader, but maybe you want to hold it longer, survive this dip. And if you go to the red zone, 9%, that's a great day trade, unless, 9%, 16 hours, love it. Okay, any questions on ENS as a day trade? Let's take a quick look at this as a swing. I think we're going to be up in the, well, this looks better than I thought. We're a little late to this, but this is a pretty good entry. I mean, double digits to the red zone. We broke out of the green. Ideally, we would have gotten in right about here, in this spot, but this is pretty close to that. And you've got strong confirmation on the LSMA, buy zone, supertrend printing buy. I like it. So not financial advice, but I think this one's worthy of consideration as a swing trade. So, okay, any questions on ENS as a swing? Okay, we'll look at one more sort on Altcoin Alert, then we'll head over to iCoinPro. So that was a social activity. Let's do a long-term sentiment sort. It's another one of my favorites. And I'm going to match this up with the Elder Impulse Daily. So when I get bullish or very bullish on both It's sort of like the social activity, trading activity, long-term sentiment is what people are talking about now compared to what they were 20 days ago. Hover your cursor over this question mark if you want a more detailed explanation of what these are. Elder impulse is a technical indicator. So when these match up, yeah, Litecoin, interesting. That's not usually a fast mover. That's the only one that really, Aave as well, another slow mover. These are kind of interesting. All right, so the only two that match are Aave and Litecoin. Those are older projects. Let's look at Litecoin. Why not? Okay, as a day trade, again, this had a nice move out of that 20. I think a lot of the charts are looking like this. And it's kind of putzing around the 80. Yeah, this is kind of frustrating because these alerts keep going off. This one goes off, then it dips. It goes off when you go above, goes off when you go below. If you have it going both directions like I do. Another one, and they're just going sideways. But could be a short candidate. But I think I would wait for this to dip down below the 20 again, like we have over here. Yeah. So that alert's going to look like this, crossing up on the 20. And you know the rest. Any questions on Litecoin? Let's look at it as a swing. Okay, it looks a lot like ENS, though the green hasn't printed yet. I mean, the supertrend hasn't printed yet. Pretty good move up to the red zone here. 16%. That kind of surprises me. I'd probably lean towards ENS on this. One we looked at before, but Litecoin looks pretty good. This one, you just got to wait for the alert to, the super trend to go off. Click on your buy. Just leave it on only once. This was a long-term sentiment buy. And then I'll go with handbell. I think I'll just go ahead and set this one up just for fun. And then, yeah, Litecoin, that shows up here in my alerts. Any questions on Litecoin as a swing trade? How about any questions about Altcoin Alert generally? Okay, I'm going to head over to iCoinPro, home of the 1, 2, 3 dip. I like dips and retraces. Those are my favorite trades, and this is where I learned a lot of that type of trading. There's a little bit of overlap in the tools that iCoinPro and Altcoin Alert have. But since I send most people their 1, 2, 3 dip training when they join me, or when they join my email list, I like to go ahead and share a couple coins off of this information. It hasn't been very successful today because we've been mostly trending up, and this 1 hour RSI is how I like to sort the RSI SPY, which is one of the tools. And I'm looking for values 30 and lower. Those are coins that usually been beaten down and due for recovery, but we don't have that situation here. These are all above 30. I might fudge a little and choose one that's like a 32, but I'm not seeing anything here I really like. I can sort it the opposite way, but not much here either. We've got ENS. We just looked at that one as a potential short on a day trade and a long on a swing. So let's head over here to the other tool I like, which is this Buddy Coin Crawler. It tells me what's been moving throughout the day. Looking for values 4% and higher. We've got some double-digit ones here. And some coins I've never heard of. I'm sorting by the average low to SMA. The low is a 24-hour low. The SMA line is that red line in between the Bollinger Bands. This one here. These green lines are Bollinger Bands. They kind of help show momentum and things like that. They're important in the 1, 2, 3 dip training. So I had to scroll down a while to find something that I was familiar with to trade this morning. And not finding it really. INJ I kind of like. SEI or SEI. It's pretty good. Woo. Let's look at SEI. I know the Crypt Nation guys like that one. Look at that one as a spot trade. Okay, we'll go to the Coinbase chart. And yeah, it's above the 80 at the moment, just dipped down a little bit. But again, this recovered nicely after it broke below the 20. And then made this really nice move here. Let's see, that went up to, yeah, 15%. That's a great day trade. Again, that alert's going to be on the RTI, dip below the 20, but we're above the 80 now, so that dip below the 20 might take tomorrow or the next day. Let's look at SEI as a swing. And it looks pretty similar to some of the other ones. Got about 16% to the red zone. It's in a buy now. The Trendio LSMA is trending up pretty hard. It came out of the green zone, but it's gone sideways the last few hours. Could be a decent entry, not for sure. But you might want to check this one out. SEI, again, you can trade that on Coinbase. It has good recovery potential back to this area of around 34 cents. It's 29 now. Any questions on, say, SEI? Okay, we'll look at one more. And what was the other one we were looking at? ARB, FTX, Jupiter, INJ. Yeah, I traded that one earlier this year on a swing and did really well with it. Look at it as a day trade first. And that one's on Coinbase as well. And it looks pretty similar to what we just looked at. Again, a really nice recovery off the break above the 20. Pretty big move to the red zone, 10%. Love that. Yeah, it's going to be the same. Set that alert. Crossing up on the 20. And then you know the rest. Okay, INJ is a swing. Very similar to the last two we looked at. 16% to the red zone. Still in a sell, but we have, again, out of the green zone. LSMA is green, so we just need this to switch over. Just set your alert to buy and go ahead and get in when that triggers. Or you could get in now. This looks pretty good. Got a couple green candles here on the hour chart, and the rest of the setup looks good. So not financial advice, but I like getting in this, say around 1990 on a limit order and getting out up here at the red zone around just below $23. Okay, any questions on INJ? Any questions on anything we've talked about today regarding day trading, short-term swing? Well, I did want to address something that I was messaged about. Let's see if he's here. Yeah, I don't see him there, but But if I understood his message correctly, he wanted me to show a trading account and actually take a trade. I suspect he hasn't done that yet. He's a fairly new trader. That does put me in the area vaguely of financial advice if I'm showing you a trade I'm taking. So, so I'm not going to do that. Not because I'm afraid of it, but just don't want the legal hassle.
CJ,
Yo,
what you could do is set up go to testnet and then just do a sample trade on testnet,
as soon as
and
you
it would.
piped up, I thought you were going to suggest that.
That way you're not taking a real trade.
Yeah.
You're just showing how the system works.
Yeah, Craig's talking about doing sample trades on a demo account. Really good idea. I haven't used testnet specifically, but I'm making note of that.
I think it's
And
testnet.bybit.in or bybit dot whatever.
okay, so that's a
Um,
Bybit. Um,
I think BitGet has a test site as well.
okay,
But
yeah. Well, most of my folks are Americans. I suspected he wanted to trade on Coinbase or Kraken, something that he could do. I'll and I'll tell him how I learn things when I want to learn something new. I usually do a Google search, look for a video or a list on how to do something, and then try to figure it out. I do make myself available to some degree on Zoom calls, so if you guys need help with something, we can schedule something. I can help you out. Okay, thanks for the suggestion, Craig. Anybody else have any comments, questions, or issues? All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. If you're watching on the recording, I appreciate that as well, though I'd rather see you live. Check out the options in the pinned comment. They help fund the channel. And you guys have a good trading week. Hopefully we'll see you Friday. Bye.